So I think we're shifting to greater sustainability, trying to look at the whole picture and realizing it's not just about the finished good, but it's also about the chemicals that are used to process, the end of life of the material, what happens to the product, how is it used. It's just a holistic approach. Well, I didn't really have any expectations coming in, but once I saw the agenda, I was pretty excited because it looks like the speakers this morning were good, except for myself. I thought the topics were really relevant, everything from legislation to innovation. I thought it was a really good mix. I kind of wish it was a longer conference, actually. Well, I think with any of the large brands, just the complexity of our supply chain, and how many people touch product, and how do you get them the message and give them tools to allow them to make better decisions. And that's really where Bluesign fit in for us, is it gives them access to a tool so they can make better choices without us having to tell them every single one of them. It gives them a set of options to choose from. Well, I think, again, because we don't own the facilities where we manufacture, and where all the water and chemistry is being used is down the second tier, third tier, and beyond. Our presence gets really small, and we're also in these facilities with other brands. So it's a good time for us to shift to collaboration and figuring out how can we share and have the same message to suppliers. I think that'll help break down some of the challenges. Well, I think we've tracked Bluesign for 10, 12 years. I was being sincere when I said that in the presentation. We've talked to Peter for a very long time. We've always believed in what he did. We just couldn't figure out how do we scale it. And our new partnership gives us access to a couple of tools that we can then roll out to our supply chain, so that if somebody is doing something with a textile, they can log on and figure out what that material type is and what are the approved chemistries. It takes us to a much bigger list than if we had to grow it ourselves. And it also sends a message out there to the market that this is what we're looking for, and attracts other chemical suppliers to do the same. You'd ask me 15 years ago if I would be talking about sustainability. I wouldn't have known what you were talking about, but once you see it in practice, it really becomes a part of you. Well, what we're expecting is that our suppliers will be able to choose better chemistries, and the benefit will not only be to the final product, but it also is to the environment and sustainability. Well, our motivation is that our supply chain is so big. We just needed a tool that we could give to them and let them have access to far more chemistry. When I say chemistries, I'm talking about chemical mixtures than we could have ever done ourselves. And it also allows us to do it in a way where the good chemical suppliers are able to protect their confidential business information, but yet we know they're being reviewed by somebody. Well, surprisingly, we're still in the mode of rolling it out to our suppliers, but we've also been able to identify some innovative chemistries that we want to evaluate. So I think it's going to enable innovation as well as sustainability, and we're already seeing that in some of the things we're evaluating. I think the customer just assumes that their product is safe and that it's being produced in a responsible way, and I think this just moves us closer to that, and I think it will also allow other brands to engage and do the same thing. It's not about it just being for Nike. It's something that we really have to shoot. Yeah, and when we negotiated the contract, there was the option there. Could we have done it just for us? But we intentionally negotiated it where other brands could join in as well. We didn't want to lock out the others because we're all in shared facilities. So we need more brands to do the same thing.